my group is with Aiden and Hunter, and just to get started, the town of Salem would have been about to like make the houses and the shops and stuff, so we made it based on where the town of Salem was, because so the town was built in 1888, which wasn't in 1692, and Salem witch trials was. And so this is the tree where they hung John Proctor and a lot of other people that were accused witches, and this is where they would have buried them. They probably would have uh, buried them because not buried them. They hung them, and a lot of people jumped on it because of fear. Because fear would have sparked the like it's just like a bandwagon. People are gonna jump onto it because they don't want to be an outcast of that society. And all these houses that you are seeing, except for that one is a townhouse. We'll get to that a little bit later. But all these houses are about the style that it would have been, and they would have had like one roof, have an attic, and that's about it, or open space with lots of shelving. And all these houses are the accused and the accusers. There are many more houses we could have added, but there was too many in just like one confined area. Like I think there was like 20 in an area like this, and so we just add the accused and the accusers. And then all these hills and rivers would have been where it would have been for 1692 when the Salem witch trials took place. But fear was what caused people to jump onto this bandwagon, and they all jumped onto it because they didn't want to be an outcast of that society. And this is like the jail where they would have held people being accused. You had the town clerk like putting everyone in, and then up the stairs on the second floor of the townhouse was where they held the witch trials. And fear, because like you had people accusing people of witches, and you could have like they did the thing about phantoms. They can't see the phantoms, but they could have that fear of the phantoms coming after them, and they don't want the phantoms to come after them because they don't want to die, and their fear of dying. But fear is what sparked the Salem witch trials, I believe, in my group. And this is where they would have taken notes for the witch trials, and then the like prosecutor people. But fear is what I believe. In the Salem witch trials, it was just a lot of things happening at one time, and they didn't know how to believe it or what was true. They didn't know what was right from wrong, and so they just jumped onto the bandwagon and didn't stop when someone had said that there was something wrong at all. And so they just kept going with it. I can't. Oh, it's still going. Okay. But they would have stopped. They didn't want to stop because they didn't want to be the outcast, and they didn't want to die or be hung for being accused as a witch. And so they just jumped onto this bandwagon and just made everything worse because it did not stop until they finally realized I was wrong, and they tried covering up. And so there was about this many accusers with the roofs that are this color. About that many accusers, and the rest of these houses were accused. About a quarter of these houses that were accused died, and the rest of them went guilty, so because they didn't want to die, because they had that fear of dying. And there's the pond, but they didn't want to die, and so they just said that they were a witch, and they had to accuse someone else. They asked who was your apprentice, like who helped you, and who ordered you to be a witch, pretty much. And then it got so many more other people accused, and then it restarted, and it just did not stop, and it kept going. And that's why the Salem witch trials was so bad, and why I believe it was based on fear. Because they had the fear, they didn't want to die, they didn't know where they were going, when they were going to die. They were very religious in that time, and so they thought that if you lie, you're going to go to hell, and if you don't lie, you're going to go to heaven. And so the people that died, they they didn't want to lie because they thought morally that they'd bring them to hell. So they had that, but then the other people had so much fear that they just did not want to die, that they said that they were a witch and then accused other people of being witches. And that is our project for the town of Salem. So that's the townhouse, and then one of the main rivers running through town. And this is the secondary river running through town. So they got most of their water, transport, goods, trade. And then this is where they would have hung them to die. Nope. It's where they would have hung them to die. Yeah. Was here, and they said it was about 5 feet away from the grave, and it's about 5 blocks away from the tree. And then how they would have did it is they would have put them up the ladder about like here, and then just tossed them off. They would have died because they would have snapped their neck. Most of them didn't die of suffocation because of the fall and how heavy the rope was, like how tight the rope was. It would just snap. And then another reason why they thought that they were witches when they hung them was because when someone dies, their nerves will disperse and your brain will do every last action that it can to think that you're alive. And so your body will be, so if you know what a grand mal seizure is, they'll pretty much do that, which my best term of describing it is flop around like a dead fish or a fish out of water. Well, not a dead fish, a fish out of water, my bad. But it'll flop around like a fish out of water. And so that's all your nerves all at once, just trying to go and get you awake. And then it finally realizes that it can't do anything anymore, and then it just stops. And they thought that that was a demon leaving your body. And so that's why a lot of other people just joined in on that bandwagon. Thought that they got the witches correct when they just killed innocent people for just the aspect of fear. And that will conclude our project, and thank you for listening.